Hey chat, it's Crafty Type 1, and PlayStation is getting rid of physical games. And honestly, it's kind of your fault. Actually, no, it's our fault because we can complain about losing discs all we want, but when was the last time you actually bought a physical game? I mean, actually walked into a store and picked up a case and bought the disc. Because for most of us, the answer is probably not recently. And that's the crazy part of this whole situation that I wanted to talk about. PlayStation isn't just randomly deciding physical games that don't matter anymore. They're looking at how we actually buy games and how we actually play games, and how many of us have slowly moved away from discs without even realizing it. So today, I want to talk about why this happened and why, as much as we want to blame PlayStation, we might have just helped them get to this point. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, this was posted on PlayStation's blog on July 1st of 2026, stating that physical disc production ending in January of 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. Stating, in response to shifting trends in consumer preferences, new games will be released on the PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. This honestly made a lot of people mad, and you'll see online everyone's like, I'm not gonna buy the PlayStation 6, I can't believe that they're doing this. But to me, I'm kind of shocked that everyone's like surprised by this. A little side tangent, because I find it so funny, because of course we got the announcement of like GTA 6 and the pre-orders that went live, and that it was digital only. There was a lot of controversy over the release of GTA 6, how it's only going to be a code in a box. A lot of people were trying to figure out what was the reason for that, and people kind of came to the conclusion it was probably to combat like any sort of leaks getting out, because of course if it was a code in a box, they can control who is and isn't playing it. And they can control if someone has access to the game before, they're supposed to. The story kind of shifted to, okay, when are we gonna get a physical version of this game? And it's safe to say that we're not. I don't think Rockstar is planning on releasing a physical version at any point in time, and it's just going to be a code in the box, especially after this announcement. And this makes it's kind of interesting because we basically got a whole year left of physical games, but I'm pretty sure if any new game is going to come out, it's not going to be released physically. Yeah, they even say it in this blog. It says, for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting in January 2028. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. So, yeah. I want to bring up some few numbers. I've been saying this a lot. It's kind of like our fault. It's, our fault. I want to specifically bring up the financial reports from Sony. And you could see, like, looking a little bit deeper, let me just zoom in on the numbers that matter. The full game software digital download ratio. And you can see, like, this is for year 2024 and then for year 2025. It hovered around 80, 70, 74, 80, and averaged about 76 for 2024. And then for 2025, 83, 72, 76, 85, and an average around 78%. It only got higher. From my understanding, it went up to 85% as an average for 2026 as it stands right now. So that means 85% of sales are digitally. And you can even look at the software sales. So physical software, 21,000. Digital software, 226,000. So it doesn't really make that much sense to build the infrastructure, to do the shipping, to send all the stuff for Sony to even like think about doing this, to think about selling games physically. It doesn't make that much sense for only $20,000 for Q4. This is where they make most of their money because of Christmas. And we all kind of saw the writing on the wall when the PlayStation 5 got announced and there was like a digital edition. And honestly, like, I do remember when the announcement of there only going to be a digital edition happened. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? It makes sense. And I personally have a disc version. Do I have any PS5 games? No, I have them all digitally. And I think it's safe to say that the PS6, which is supposedly coming out in 2027, is only going to be digital. I want to make things straight really quick. I am okay with things going digital. I am not okay with us not owning our digital content. Sony has done a lot of crazy things already, like deleting movies off of their store and just being able to kind of control basically what we have access to. And I don't like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't like that. I don't like where this whole area is going. But I do think the whole gaming going into more digital just makes a lot more sense. And I wouldn't be surprised if we got a digital only Switch 2. But to me, it just makes way too much sense because, like, based off of my preferences, I think after like the 6th year of the Switch 1, I stopped buying physical games. I still have all my physical games, but they're just in my closet. I started buying games digitally and physically for a while, and then I started just buying games digitally because just the ease of having all my games on my console and not having to get up and go get a disc, the ease is great. I think when it comes to like a lot of people are kind of like sharing games, Sony doesn't want you to share games. Does that make sense? They want you to buy 2 copies. So of course they don't want to make physical versions. But again, honestly, like, I'm okay with the whole area going digital. Like, Nintendo even like implemented ways to share games digitally. And I think that's kind of like the era we're kind of going into where like right now there's nothing, but I do think the future for digital games will change. And honestly, I think like the best case scenario, this is just me thinking randomly, you could get a USB stick, or the way Steam has it, plug it in and it already has, you know, all the games in it. Of course, it recognizes it and recognizes it's a legit game and it's linked to your account. I'm thinking if there's a way to do that where you could just transfer it from PlayStation to PlayStation, that could work. Then of course you like risk, you know, copying files, but as long as there's some sort of like authentication key. But then that kind of goes into like what we had a problem with, like game key cards, where you have to be connected to internet to even get access to your games. And it's unfortunate this is like the world we're going to, but it seems like that it just is the way. Like, even if the vocal minority of like physical collectors, you know, didn't buy, you know, any more games, again, that's like it's $20,000 to Sony in a quarter compared to like 300,000. It really is not that much. And right now what we're seeing online is, you know, just the vocal minority. And again, like, I'm not trying to poke fun or say that your opinions are invalid or anything, but I'm just saying you got to look at this realistically. The writing on the wall happened with the digital version of the PS5, and right now I guarantee you, if physical games were, you know, if it was a 50-50 split between physical and digital games, they wouldn't do this. But there really is no need to like ship a bunch of physical games out and sell them like that. Speaking of, guys, I will be buying and playing GTA 6. I know I'm like very like Nintendo oriented channel, but I am actually very excited for GTA 6. But yeah, that's my opinion on this whole situation. I think like we have no one but to blame but ourselves for doing this. It's based off of consumer trends. I personally buy all my games digitally now. I am only concerned when it comes to like my actual ownership of the property of the digital games. But when it comes to, you know, just having my games digitally, sure. So I do think we're in a shifting area now. There's going to be new laws probably going to be put in place in the coming years to protect our rights when it comes to physical media. We already see like the EU doing that with the like No Dead Games Act, or I believe is what it was called. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you still buy physical games, or are you mainly a digital person like I am? If you guys made it this far in the video and want to see more different style content, don't forget to subscribe to get notified when the video comes up, and you know, it lets me know I'm doing some cool little videos. Okay, anyways, I'm Crafty Type 1, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.